I told the guys after the game, I'm not losing Craig. We have a 13 game guaranteed left. So we've been going to run here and just keep building, keep working, and just keep going. Like, it's early in the season. It's 4 games, and of course we want a better start than that. But like I said, if we keep working, we know the team that we can beat.
That was Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Keeping the Faith, which is a pretty bad movie starring David Duchovny, I think, 25 years ago. Anyway, Justin Fields hasn't been great from a real-life perspective in terms of getting W's, but there is no bigger delta in fantasy versus real life in terms of value provided than Justin Fields, and he comes in as number 2 in your rankings, Matthew, with a very favourable matchup against the Cowboys.
He was awful for 3 quarters against Miami, and still finished with 27 fantasy points. I mean, like that. Like, it's literally like, again, you don't have to watch the games; you can just enjoy the points. And speaking of games and enjoying points, every quarterback that's faced the Dallas Cowboys this year, Jay, has scored at least 24 fantasy points, right? Including Jordan Love. Last week, you and I canoodling in front of the TV watching that. A lot of fun in Dallas. It was very romantic.
Magical city.
Yes, very magical city. The Lone Star State. But here's the thing. So every quarterback that's faced the Dallas Cowboys has scored at least 24 fantasy points. Well, guess who faces them this week? It is Justin Fields. Cowboys allowing 27.4 points per game to opposing quarterbacks as well. 29-27. Those are the 2-point totals Fields has had in his 2 completed games so far this season. You get the floor right there. Mason Taylor starting to emerge. By the way, Breece Hall with the injury to Braylon Allen. Breece Hall, who's better used as a pass catching running back than he is up the middle, and Isaiah Davis. So I think they'll go a little bit more pass happy here, but just I don't know the matchup and Fields' floor with his legs. He's a top 2 quarterback from this week.
Yep, total approaching 50 in that game as well. So you'd expect that he's going to be in a script where he has to drop back and they have to keep throwing, or in his case, running the ball while he drops back. Question from Michael Kelly. Concerns with having players on teams at 0-4. Fields, Garrett Wilson with the New York Jets, teams just with bad vibes not to invest in. I think with the Jets, like, Garrett Wilson's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Justin Fields as well. I mean, I don't think that they're really going to bench him for Tyrod Taylor necessarily. I think he's got a little bit of a leash there. So I wouldn't be so concerned. And also, like, with the Jets, like, Breece Hall is the guy most likely to get traded, I would say, of the guys that we care about from a fantasy perspective. Is Breece Hall getting traded? Is that really that much worse of a situation where he goes to? He's probably going to go to a team like the Chiefs or the Bears, where he becomes a legit RB1 for them.
Yeah, it sort of depends on kind of your situation and what team we're talking about here. Like, Alvin Kamara, could I be concerned? Sure, a little bit, right? On the Saints, just because he could get moved, and he could move to a situation where he's not getting as much volume. Like, I'm making it up, but if he goes to Kansas City, where now he's the head of a committee, but he's still in a committee where they've got a lot of the mouths to feed. So, yeah, maybe, but it's all just sort of like, what are you going to do? I'm more concerned with older players on 0-4 teams, where they just sort of want to shut it down, than I am with a player like Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall or Justin Fields.
Yep, agreed. The Jets better win this game, because if they don't, Connor Rogers is just a broken man at the moment. Between the Mets blowing...
More of a broken man.
Yeah. Between the Mets blowing the playoffs without those 2 out of 3 losses to the Marlins, now the Jets are 0-4, Rangers missing the playoffs. It's not good for Connor Rogers.
His job requires him to work with me every day.
Yes. He's just now, he used to get upset when the Jets lose. Like, he's sad when the Zach Wilson era. Now he's just angry. Now he's just scorched earth on the New York Jets. So hopefully they can get a win.
You hate to see a youngin' get so bitter so early. It took me a while before I got to that level of bitter, but Connor is right there.
Indeed. One of the reasons why Fields is such a good play this week is that he goes against an offense that is going to light up his defense and keep him in a drop-back script. And he's facing Dak Prescott, who I think, Matthew, if I had an MVP vote, and I strangely don't have an official MVP vote, but if I did, through 4 weeks of the season, I would give that vote to Dak Prescott. I think he has played the quarterback position at as high, if not higher level than anyone else in the game. Think about and his stats are so deflated because he's gotten screwed by his receivers. CeeDee Lamb in week 1 with all those drops against the Eagles. He did everything humanly possible against the Giants, got the win in week 2. And then against the Packers, he played basically close to a perfect game and had everything from just on-time throws. He got the ball out in less than 2.7 seconds per drop back. In terms of the highlight throws down the field, the throw to Jalen Tolbert's one of the best throws I've ever seen
it was unbelievable.
in my life in person. So Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level, and now he gets a defense that you don't have to play at an MVP level against to light up with the Jets. They just don't have anything at the moment, and they're just such a far departure from the elite defense that they were a couple years ago against Robert Saleh. So Dak Prescott, as Tej says, Dak has been a top 5 quarterback right now based on play. Great call, Evil J. Thank you, Tej.
Thank you, Tej. Look, trying to get into the power rankings. I get that.
It's one of the great snubs of our times. I don't really understand.
Tej, you were on others receiving votes, make no mistake, but we'll see if you can sneak in to the top 10 later this week.
And you crack the top 10. Yeah, I think with Dak, there was some concerns. Like, CD Lamb's out. How much is Dak a product of CD? And turns out he's completely fine. He just give the ball to Kevontae Turpin and Jalen Tolbert, in addition, obviously, to George Pickens. So Dak Prescott, I think he's just, until he stops playing at this level, he's like a borderline QB1 for fantasy.
Well, because it's not just him playing at this elite level. It's also the defense.
Yeah.
He's having to, right? And so that's the thing. I mean, like, we thought the Packers were going to roll him last week, and they obviously didn't. And so I'm with you. I've never been the biggest Dak fan, but Dak is playing unbelievably well this year. Credit to him and the entire Cowboys staff. So I like that call as a love. I'm going to turn to a guy that another guy that's facing a quarterback that's going to keep him in game script. So Drake Maye is at Buffalo this week. That's the Sunday night game right here on NBC and Peacock. Of course, I'm a company man. So, we expect Buffalo to have no issue here. 50, it's an over-under of 50. So it's the highest game total in Week 5. So we expect a lot of offense both ways. No team in the NFL has allowed more rushing yards or more yards per carry, a higher yards per carry to opposing quarterbacks than the Buffalo Bills. So that is an area you can attack. Obviously, Maye gets points with his feet, with his arms as well. He's been a top 8 fantasy quarterback each of the last 3 weeks. You see it there on your screen, 23, 19, 26.3. He's been pretty good. He's been pretty good through the last 3 weeks. And now against the Buffalo Bills, who, yes, they have a very good defense, but they're also 7.5-point underdogs. So yeah, it's should be good.
Unbelievable. I think that the other thing too is that Drake Maye, just his real life level of football play has increased substantially. Now he's in this game against Buffalo, where I was a little bit surprised that the Patriots in this one, they're only 7.5 to around 8-point dogs. The line has been moving around a bit. So the market believes in the Patriots offense, in Drake Maye, taking a serious leap. I also think it really helps Drake Maye that Stephon Diggs last week against the Panthers.
He looked like Stephon Diggs
again. He looks a little bit like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
And if Drake Maye's going to have a legit wide receiver one, because that was the concern, is he didn't have the weapons, but with the level that he's playing at, with the help that he can get from Diggs going forward. And also,
Henry's
Buffalo.
looking good, and
he's got some actual weapons. We love Boutte. We've always loved Boutte.
Yeah,
we love Boutte as the number 2 option. More so than number 1.
I hadn't really tried Boutte in a significant way this year until recently, but I have, and I've developed a taste for it.
Yes, yeah, as we should. And so now against the Buffalo defense, the Bills are great. The Bills are arguably the best team in football. I think they're certainly the best team in the AFC right now, but it's not a particularly imposing defense. So like Tua kind of light on. Even Spencer Rattler moved the ball and was inches away from getting to putting up, almost 25 points against Buffalo. So I think that Drake Maye will have a big game this week. Another guy I think is going to have a big game.
I hope you're right. I'm at QB7, and I need him against Connor Rodgers, so we will see what happens there.
Yep. Another guy who's I think he's going to have a big game this week is Daniel Jones.
Of your Colts. You're a Colts man.
Yeah, my beloved Colts for the shoe, as they say. Daniel Jones, it came down to, like for the shoe? Hashtag
no,
that's
literally their hashtag. That is literally their hashtag.
Yeah, it's like tighten up.
I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you using it. But yes, that is, Colt up.
Yes, no, I love the Indianapolis Colts. I love Colts football. I love AFC South football. And I think that Daniel Jones is going to, like AFC South?
No, I'm just
Who doesn't love
laughing
AFC South?
I'm
As a young boy in Australia, in Melbourne, I grew up loving AFC South.
Of course
football.
you did.
I grew up watching David Garrard light up Matt Sharp and the Texans. Great division. So Daniel Jones, he came back down to earth against the Rams. This felt perhaps a little bit inevitable. And the deep ball wasn't really working for him, but he was missing his primary deep threat in Alec Pierce. I still believe in the offense. Think about everything that went wrong for the Colts in that game. AD Mitchell Mitchell's walking into the end zone, fumbles it out the back. They have all the turnovers. Puka Nacua goes absolutely berserk, and really they should have won that game against the Rams. I think this is just a legitimately very good team. I think it's a very good infrastructure that Shane Steichen is providing with his play calling, with a really solid offensive line, and the team is just loaded in weapons. They've got Jonathan Taylor, who is taking a load off of Daniel Jones with all of the gravity that he provides, and then between Pittman and Tyler Warren and Josh Downs and A.D. Mitchell, if he's not making insane brain farts, and Alec Pierce, I just think that this is set up for Daniel Jones to continue to thrive, and he gets this matchup against the Raiders, whose secondary has been deplorable this year. The cornerbacks aren't getting any better, so I think that Daniel Jones, he should return to the guy that we saw statistically through the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I completely agree. Again, I'm as a top 10 play. We talked about him yesterday on the show. He's a keep it open for me. He's a top 10 play for me. I like the call on Danny Dimes, who has been better at home this year than he has been on the road. He's in the friendly confines of Lucas Oil Stadium. A couple other quarterbacks in the other receiving votes category. How about Jared Goff at home against Cincinnati? You had me at the Bengals. I'm sorry, he's not at home. He's on the road at Cincinnati, but still, bottom 3 pass defense for the Bengals. 3 of the 4 quarterbacks to face Cincy have thrown for at least 270 yards. Goff looks dialed in. How about Jackson Dart? It wasn't always pretty last week, but he finished as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I'm at QB 14 against the Saints. New Orleans allowing over 20 fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. That's 5th most in the NFL. And he had 10 rushing attempts last week for Dart. They let him use his legs, including 2 goal-to-go rushing attempts as well. Jackson Dart is a mid-tier QB2 with upside for more. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.